Blessed is he who, in the name of charity and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of the darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper, and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy. Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
It's time to take an inside look at those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another spectacular episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today on Thrive Loud, we have an individual that coaches men to master themselves and go within to manifest their dream reality outside. He is on a mission to surround himself with legendary human beings and leaders because he's committed to being the best version of himself. Thrive Loud listeners, we're going to get into it. Coming to us from Tulum, Mexico, Christopher Burns. Christopher, how you doing today?
I am phenomenal, Lou. Thank you for being here. And everyone who's tuning in, buckle up because Lou and we're bringing the heat.
We're bringing the heat. And obviously we got somebody down in Mexico. And for those that need to know it, he literally has the biggest glass of water we've ever had on the show. I mean, it's basically like, it looks like an upside down version of what you would put into a water cooler. But he's very thirsty, I guess. All right. So Christopher, I want to ask this question to get things rolling here. I want to do a little rewind. How did this coaching men become your gig? So give me a little let's hit the rewind button and talk about how this became the thing you're focused on today.
Yeah, well, I bet you've seen with just about every one of your guests, Lou, it happens from events from the past, right? Pain, trauma, childhood, things that shape us for the rest of our lives. And I was a video game nerd in my teens. And was so afraid of talking to people, afraid of talking to women, afraid of getting in public, speaking, anything like that. Didn't want to call the dentist or doctors to make appointments. And I felt really insecure, man, really, really powerless. And I felt all this pent up emotion and stuff inside me. And I released the pressure through partying and going into situations that weren't so great for me in my late teens and early 20s. And ended up hitting a rock bottom in my life and was partying a little too hard and ended up getting arrested, actually, and was in San Bernardino County Prison in Southern California for about 2 days. Luckily, charges were dropped, case was dismissed, nothing ever went on my record, but it was my wake-up call to say, I am doing this wrong. You know, God, source, universe, whatever, like I am messing this up. Please help me get out of this situation. Help me turn this thing around and I'll make the rest of my life the best of my life, right? Really, really dedicate it to serving and empowering others. And hired a life coach, immediately felt lit up and seen and validated. And I was like, man, I know I can bring this to other people. I can share this wisdom and personal development that I've been learning. And that was about 6 years ago that I decided to become a coach and just been serving people ever since.
Christopher, I want to rewind even a little bit more here, and if you permission to ask a little bit on that pain point.
Please, yes.
You know, what type of environment did you grow up in that kept you so reserved, so internal, so afraid to get out? What if you were to dig back and say what kept you quiet and reserved versus being open and connected as you are today?
What a great question, man. And for me, I see that I was actually intimidated by my dad. My dad's a 6'3", big buff guy, and his anger intimidated me. And, you know, he wasn't angry all the time, but like when he was fiery and got angry at stuff, it made me afraid. Right. And I didn't want anyone around me to feel afraid. I'm 5'9", you know, so he's like a good half foot taller than me. And that was always intimidating for me. And so I think at some subconscious level, I made it my being and my characteristic that I'm never going to make someone feel uncomfortable or, make them feel like they're doing something wrong. And so I became very people pleasing in a lot of sense and took on a lot of the feminine energy rather than the masculine, powerful energy. And that was what I did to cope in that situation of sometimes feeling intimidated or insecure, insignificant. And also I looked up to my dad a lot too. I saw him as this Superman and really powerful guy. And I compared myself with him. I was like, man, I'm just this shrimpy little white boy. Like, what do I got to offer to the world? So I think that it was a combination of things, man.
So by the way, kudos to you for obviously the unfortunate part of having to go hit a rock bottom to then bounce back. But kudos to you for at least being here today and recognizing and finding a way to move forward. And that's what really thriving individuals do. That's what we have on this program, those that thrive loud or those that know how to move onward and upward. And now I want to talk about the fact that you're helping other men to do this. In working with that life coach that you first connected with, aside from getting the spark that he lit up in you, what was it about the way that he was coaching you that said, I got to do this too?
Well, you asked the perfect questions, Lou, because the differentiating factor was this man was healing through cancer, and he was giving his life to serving and empowering others. I met him in Toastmasters and just saw the light radiating off of him, so to speak, and how service oriented he was. He had ran a successful business in the 80s and 90s and had since retired and been focusing on his health and rebuilding his health. And what really moved me was that he was giving his dying breaths to support and empower others. And he passed about a year and a half after I had started working with him, maybe 2 years. And it was just, for me, there was kind of this incompletion that I had felt too, because I felt like I didn't get to say goodbye fully to him. And just like, I was like, man, this hurts. I don't want anyone to feel this way or feel alone if they're isolating themselves and playing video games or whatever. You know, a lot of young men are struggling with addictions. And I know I had challenges with my own shame and my own guilt and feeling terrible about myself, man. I know a lot of guys are struggling with that. So I'm just really here because I've seen what a courageous, caring, devoted man can do to believe and lift up me in my life. And this Lee Adams, he believed in me and uplifted me in ways that nobody else did. And for that, I'm forever grateful. And I'm committed to paying that forward and being that contribution to other men.
So paying this forward, and this is really interesting, Christopher, because we've had a lot of women on this program, and they allocate and dedicate, I want to use those two words very specifically, a lot of their time and focus into making sure other women have, either whether it's support groups, business connected groups, because of whatever road they've had to go through. And I've often stated, almost in jest, wow, if it's almost like a 2-to-1 ratio of how many more women's group there are than men. Now I want to talk about something that's really something I think you're going to hit home. There's a hesitation from men getting involved in stuff like this. Would you agree with me on this?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me what people who are hesitant, what men see this and go, not quite sure. What are the reasons, excuses, beliefs, things that they have that make them say, I'm not so sure if this is for me, right before when they engage with you, or right when they're thinking about engaging with you?
Yeah, it's so important that we identify potential blind spots and areas where we might be sabotaging ourselves or not showing up as our best selves, delivering our best selves to the world. And I know for me in particular, when I was first starting on my personal development journey, I said, what is this? What is this, self-help and things like that? Like, I don't need that. Like, I'm fine the way I am, right? I don't need to grow. Now, because people are listening to this podcast, listening to you, Lou, and committed to a life of thriving, I know that's not the case. So as far as for men who are listening to this podcast and what they might be sharing, or, even women who know men in their life, I think a big thing is still that looking good, wanting to look good, wanting to have it all together, have it all figured out, not showing weakness, not showing vulnerability, not asking for help. A lot of guys struggle with getting out from this pressure of like, I'm supposed to have it all together. I'm supposed to have this mask, this cool facade on that makes it look like my life is amazing, when deep down inside they're crumbling, they're suffering, they're struggling, they don't know how to voice that. And the difference is, women, there's a culture of, you're supposed to share your feelings. Women are supposed to open up and join a women's circle. That paradigm, that stereotype, whatever you want to call it, is not there for men. For men, it's rub some dirt in it, tough it up, suck it up, like get on with your work. You're not meant to express yourself. You're not meant to show weakness or show your feelings. Even leaders, man. And this is something I've grappled with as being a leader. It's like, how much emotion is appropriate, right? Like, as a leader, I believe that there gets to be a level of authenticity of showing emotion and showing, hey, I'm challenged with this. I'm struggling with this. And there's also this unwavering faith and devotion and confidence that, like, no matter what happens, we'll keep going, right? So that there's this polarity of, I'm supposed to have a vision and do whatever it takes and be strong in the execution of that vision, whether man or woman. As a leader, like, we're going to achieve that goal. And the team and the organization relies on the leader to be able to be that rock and be that consistent source of empowerment. And there's also, hey, how do you be human and relatable to people? Because if that's not there, then you're going to have a culture of disconnection and a culture of masks and a culture of people not really opening up. And I think that's what will sabotage a business long-term more than just about anything else.
You're hitting all the hot spots here. And it's so true that this ability to have that place that you can go to address these issues. Let's now take it a step forward. Okay, tell me about what's going on in helping to get men to master the man within. What's going on inside these masterminds? Some of the unique things that Christopher Burns is helping to facilitate, bring to the table, and create this environment and this community of connectivity, if you would.
Yeah, Lou, the big thing is a healthy sense of challenge and a healthy level of challenging each other and calling each other forth. Because there's a lot of men who are struggling with imposter syndrome and, frail ego syndrome. And if they get challenged, or if they get called forth, get called out, whatever it might be, if they don't follow through on their word, if they don't have integrity, if they break a promise, listen, none of these things means you're a bad person and there's no hope for you, right? Like, we all have mistakes. Like, I'm a prime example. But the big thing is that the men in these groups, they come to the table and make big declarations, set big goals, and set promises and things that stretch them. And when they don't execute on that, yes, they get called forth and they get called out. They said, hey, our community members are like, what's happening? You said you would deliver this. Why aren't you delivering that? So a level of accountability, but also a sense of, not making people feel like terrible or making people smaller, making people feel disempowered. There's this emasculation that can go on in today's society. It happens a lot that, like, if people don't follow through, or if they're not being the best man that they can be, then they're unworthy or there's something wrong with them. And so the special thing that we provide is a safe place for men to show up and open up and be real and about all dimensions of life. I don't believe in creating business success, but having your relationship falling apart. I don't believe in creating, the relationship of your dreams, but your health is going down the tubes and you're eating like terrible and you got a heart attack on the way. And it's like, that's not thriving. That's not the whole integrated life. And so I think that we're in the age today where there's no excuse not to have a life that's working on all cylinders. Of course, we're going to make mistakes. There's going to be imbalances. There's going to be seasons where we're all in on our relationship and our business kind of takes a back seat, or vice versa. And so I think it's supporting men at whatever stage of their life and their business that they're at to reach their next level, to have that accountability, to have brothers by them who care about them and call them forth into their greatest potential.
Christopher, you also speak, and when you speak to everybody, not just men. You have a message to everyone out there, men and women. When you connect your voice and your message to others, what's the story, and what's the key learnings that your audiences take away from connecting with you?
Yeah. So the big thing that I've grown through is feeling like I didn't have a voice. I mentioned earlier about feeling insignificant, unworthy, and like what I have to share doesn't matter and doesn't make a difference. And I know there's a lot of people today in the world who feel like, what's the use? Why even try? Why even try to step up and have a podcast or put out content or whatever it might be? And so a big part of my message is recognizing each and every person is a leader. And first, we get to lead ourselves, whether man or woman, right? We get to be the author, the creator, the originator, the generator of our reality. And of course, there's going to be things that we experience and attract into our life that aren't what we had wanted or aren't what we had planned, but it's about how we respond to those things, not the things themselves, right? We're going to get things that are unplanned, but it's about our response to those things. So being able to be the creator of our reality, being able to own our voice, own the value that we bring, whether we're leading ourselves, leading our family, our significant other, leading our kids, right? That's kind of like the first realm of leadership. And I think one of the most important. And if we can't lead there, then chances are, if we go try to lead or make an attempt or have a goal to lead others and go lead corporations, organizations, communities, countries, states, whatever, right, the world, then we're not going to show up and we're not going to serve. We're not going to be our fullest, greatest selves. And so I think it's really important that people recognize that they first got to master the basics, got to master the foundation. So typically it's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You got to master your body, your mind, your emotions. You got to be able to serve society. You got to be able to expand your prosperity and shine your soul. And so I think that being able to go through that pyramid of needs and check those off, I think it's really important. So it's a big focus. People getting clear on their vision for their life, whether man or a woman, it's really important. A lot of people are just wandering around and not super clear on why they're here and what their gifts are to the world. So those are a couple of things that we cover, Lou.
Christopher, you host a podcast show. How's that been? You having fun doing it?
Oh, bro, I love it. Interviewed over 800 guests in the last couple of years, and just an opportunity to really connect with humanity. Now, I'm sure you've seen it as well with your guests, that while there might be different levels of success and different gifts and different careers and different life paths and journeys, at the core of it all, we're all human. We experience the same experiences. And a big thing I've learned from podcasting as well is not to put people up on a pedestal. You know, I think it's easy to say, oh, Gary Vee or Lewis Howes or Tony Robbins or whoever, like, yeah, they're these superhuman people who've achieved mega success. And, you know, I can't message them. I can't talk to them. And then that filters into everyone else, right? Everyone who has a podcast. No, I can't message them. They're unreachable. They're too successful, whatever it might be. And I think it dehumanizes us. So I'm all about bringing back that humanness to our conversations and to social media, especially.
Speaking of bringing back the humanness, Mr. Christopher Burns, obviously you've been thriving with Men's Mastermind, overcoming your own personal demons and moving onward and upward each and every day, which means that you are usually thriving. But as you know, we all have days when we're not quite kicking on all cylinders and not on our A game. Christopher Burns, when you have trouble thriving, what practice do you personally seek, or what individual do you seek out to get yourself back on the thriving track?
Two things come to mind. One, personal power, breathe more. Okay. If we're ever not feeling in power, if we're ever not feeling, you know, for me personally, if I'm ever not feeling in power, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to get into my breath. I'm going to take a deep friggin' breath, Lou. Boy, does that feel good. Does that recharge the body? And if one wasn't enough, I'll take another. Feel that life force energy flowing through me, man. And I'll keep doing it until I am back into a stabilized place of personal power. So that's a big one, man, is just breath. It's these basics, bro. It's basics that make the biggest difference in our life. And the second thing that makes a difference is whenever I'm in my own stuff, my own darkness, my own pity party, whatever it might be, when it's appropriate, I serve. I focus on others. I take the spotlight of attention and, you know, pain or suffering or whatever it might be, take it off myself and put that spotlight of awareness and love and contribution and service onto others and go solve and heal other people's pain, because I find that is one of the greatest alleviators of our own pain, is when we're out there serving others.
Thrive Loud listeners need to know that the clearest nasal passages we've ever had on this show belong to Christopher Burns. We got in two really good oxygen intakes in this program. So kudos to you, and it must be that nice Tulum Mexican hair that you got going on. Well done. Chris, let's do this. If you could, share with the listeners all the places people could find you, Men Mastermind, URLs, socials. We will put it all in the show notes, but it always gets more engagement when they hear it from you.
Absolutely. So everyone, I would love to connect with you who's tuning in right now, especially if this resonated with you, if this made a difference. If you have any questions and any particular things, I'm here to serve, and definitely take a screenshot of this, tag Lou and myself. We love when you do that. You can tag me on Instagram at Christopher Colin Burns, and that's Colin with 2 L's, Christopher Colin Burns. You can find me on Facebook.com/TH3 Burns. That's /TH3 Burns. And you can always check out the website, menmastermind.com. Again, that's menmastermind.com.
Is Christopher Colin Burns ready to go down Fun Street with Lou Diamond here today?
I am so ready, Lou. Let's go.
All right. Listeners need to know that I'm a big fan of Christopher, mostly because he and I share follically challenged bits, which you can see on Christopher Colin Burns on all his social things, and he's got the nice round head, so he's doing well. Okay, let's start off first of all, Christopher, by share with the listeners. Do you have an all-time favorite movie?
Man, it's I would have to say this based on the number counts recently, because I'm sure it was different when I was younger and growing up. But when Doctor Strange came out, man, I knew that is my favorite movie. Just like, it was just so inspiring. His genius, how he studied and became someone who can wield the forces of the universe. And, I feel like we have that potential within each of us to become masters and magicians and wizards like that. So Doctor Strange, bro.
It really is a cool show, and I will tell you that ever since that, paired with all the Avengers and Endgame movies, I'm still so confused about what dimension we're really in, but I'm glad that we had Doctor Strange too.
Now we got Eternals coming out too, which is like, okay, what's going to happen now?
And I watched the Loki series, which also took me to a whole other planet. I have no idea where I am right now. Thank you, Marvel MCU, for totally messing with my mind. All right, we're going to do the speed round here on Fun Street. Here's how it rolls. I'm going to ask you something. I want the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Most of these things are things that lift you up, make you feel good, motivate you, basically make you thrive. Mm-hmm. All right. Of late, a song that you love to listen to, or one that pumps you up?
Of late, I'm gonna say "Blue" by ELO.
Oh,
I think it's called "Blue."
Yeah,
it's in the it's in the what's that movie with oh my gosh, Star-Lord.
With the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, it's in the beginning of the second movie.
This episode is brought to you by Marvel Universe. Favorite food that's not a dessert?
Favorite food that's not a dessert? I love burritos, man. California burritos.
But you're in Mexico. You can actually have a Mexican burrito. California burritos are good. A favorite dessert?
I'm gonna go with brownies.
Yeah. Any like, you're a chocolate brownie, or you like the blondies?
chocolate.
Chocolate. Okay. An activity you wish you did more of?
Yoga.
An activity you wish you did less of?
Procrastinating, hesitating. Yeah.
As he just procrastinated and hesitated.
Right.
And for the yoga reference, now we know why he can breathe so well.
Yeah.
Christopher Colin Burns, if I were to snap my fingers and you could be anywhere in the world, where are you?
I am in Machu Picchu.
Oh, nice. Have you been?
I have not, but I am stoked to go at some point in the future.
Yeah, it looks spectacular. My parents went years and years ago, and it's been on my list. It's up there. I got to do that whole altitude thing. Make sure I won't scuba dive the night before. I'm not sure I'll make it. Christopher Colin Burns, truly a pleasure to have you on the program. Men Mastermind, everyone check him out with all the channels, social stuff here. Truly a pleasure to have you on the program, man. And thank you for bringing it today here on Thrive Loud.
Thank you, Lou. I appreciate you. Thank you for everyone tuning in, and let's keep thriving.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.